Hey guys, what's up? It's Alec Torelli. Welcome back to an episode of Ask Alec, where I take your questions and answer them here in future videos. If you guys want more content from me, click that subscribe button because more awesome content is coming your way every week here on the Conscious Poker YouTube. That lets me know that you guys are loving this content and want more of it in the future. Let's jump into today's question. Comes from the Aggressive Kiwi on Instagram. He says, I have done very well at high stakes play money poker. What should I learn before transitioning over to real money? And in this video, we're going to cover some of the differences between play money poker and real money poker. Now, for those of you that have played play money, you guys know that the game is very aggressive. And so one thing that you're doing when you play poker, whether you're aware of it or not, is you're maybe even subconsciously recognizing patterns and then trying to find efficiencies or exploit those patterns to profit or make money. So for example, if you notice that everybody is calling every single time someone bets the flop, you just notice that you bet the flop and it goes call, 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 call. Naturally, whether you're aware of it or not, you're probably going to start betting the flop less with bad hands and bet the flop more with good hands. This way, you're going to be making money from those players that are calling way too often. So this is a simple adjustment that you could make when you notice that your players are never folding to your continuation bets. You're going to bet less often and bet only when you have strong hands. Now, the reason I'm going this direction is because at play money poker, the patterns that you recognize are not going to necessarily transfer over to real money poker. And it's from the simple reason that people's incentive to play well or to be tighter is not there in play money poker. The only thing they're playing for is their ego or the public perception of them having a lot of play money chips, which is all of an ego-based sort of thing. Not the ego in a bad way, but it's just you're playing for bragging rights, so to speak, right? This happens when you play poker with friends or you make small bets with friends. A lot of times it's not about the money you're risking with a friend, it's about the bragging rights or the feeling that you beat someone whose opinion you value. That's the same thing that's happening in play money poker. Now the problem with that is that, number one, you're not playing against people whose opinion you really value when you're playing play money poker. So one's incentive to play well, unless this is like the only thing unless they're trying to play well for a different reason, but one's baseline, economic incentive to play well is not very high. Sure, they might want to play well if they're one of the few people who are using play money poker as a way to test out poker and then learn, and you might be one of those people. But the reality is that your competition is probably not. They're there just playing a video game, they're there clicking buttons, they're there to go all in, they're there to gamble, they're there to have fun. And so their incentive isn't to play well. And so the reason I'm hammering this home is that the way that play money poker plays is not going to be the same that real money poker plays. And that's because the people's incentive is just not there. They're not like playing against all their best friends at a home game where, I've played play money poker with my family and people play well. Like I've had people fold, nut flushes when there's full house possibility because, they don't want to lose, because they don't want to lose money to their husband or their daughter or their son-in-law, right? Like that element of incentive is there. And even if it's not like, we're really competitive and we have super big egos, but it's just like that idea that, you care about the game because of the incentive structure. But that doesn't really happen in play money poker. And so people play very badly. And the deviation from how play money poker and real money poker the deviation from play money poker to real money poker, is real. And so, especially when you're playing online, which is where most people play money poker, the deviation is real. And so you're going to have to make some adjustments when you're playing for real money poker. Most notably, people are way more cautious and conservative. Even if you're playing, 10 cent, 25 cent, which is very small, where the buy-in is, $25. It's still real money. It's still a lot of money. It's not like you're just going to throw that money away, but it's not high stakes poker. People play way differently. You have people making big folds. You have people thinking about decisions. You have people, respecting bets and all-ins. And so the game plays a lot differently. than it would if you were playing for play money. So any amount of real money, and that's the point. And this is gradually more true as you move up in stakes, but any amount of real money is going to dramatically change the game. And most notably, players are going to play way tighter. And the pattern recognition that you've used to exploit those players at play money is not going to apply to real money. So there's a few things you could do when transitioning from play money to real money that are going to help your game. Number one is you're going to want to have a really solid pre-flop fundamental game. What that means is that you're always playing profitable hands pre-flop from every position. And the best way to do that is to learn which hands to play from which positions. Now, we've made this content available to you absolutely free at consciouspoker.com. You can click the link below and get access to our download to download our pre-flop charts. These are free charts that we've made that tell you which hands to play from which positions. They're beautiful infographics, and you could download that at the link below. Just enter your name and email, and I'll send it over to you. So that's a great way to start by improving your game and needing these solid fundamentals that you may or may not need in play money poker. And that applies to live games, it applies to online games, it applies to cash games and tournaments. These are pre-flop charts that you could use in any situation. And included in those charts, I've included a quick start guide to pre-flop play, because I'm sensitive to the fact that your poker game and my poker game and a live poker game at a casino and a tournament at the final table is different than an online poker game 6-max. And so I've given you what I call the big five, which are the ways to customize these pre-flop charts for your specific game. And you can use the variables that I discuss in the quick start guide to help you decide which hands to play from which position. So there's a lot of free content there that's really going to help your game. That's a great place to start if you want to transition over to live poker, or even if you're already playing live real money poker and you just want that next level to improve your fundamentals. Pre-flop is the most important decision you make, because every decision you make after that, post-flop, flop, turn, river, are all based on that decision you've made to play those first two original cards. So that's one of the transitions you're going to have to make. The second transition you're going to have to make is in general, and it's hard to make generalizations when talking about a really complex game like poker with a ton of nuances, but you're going to have to play a lot tighter. And the reason you're going to have to play tighter is because of that pattern recognition. When other players are playing tighter, it means their hand ranges are stronger. When they're starting with more solid fundamental hands, that means that you're not going to be able to play weaker hands in order to beat them. Your hands needs to be stronger than their hands in order to win, right? That's a very simplistic way of talking about poker. You need to have more winning hands than your opponents have in order to make money playing poker. Now, when your opponent's range of hands they're playing, when the amount of hands they're playing decreases, making their overall hand strength stronger, your hand strength needs to get stronger. One mistake I see beginners and even intermediate, some advanced players make is they see everyone else around them gambling. And they see everyone else around them playing all these hands, and they say, well, I want to get involved in the action. I'm going to play hands too. I'm going to jump in there with the 5-3 suited and the 7-5 suited, and I'm going to limp in and play all these hands and all these positions. But in reality, the way you make money is exploiting your opponent's weaknesses, not conforming to your opponent's weaknesses. And so the best way to do that is by saying, okay, these are the mistakes my opponents are making. They're playing too many hands in too many positions. I'm going to double down on my strategy and continue to play strong hands in position and make money by exploiting their weaknesses. So don't fall into that temptation of seeing other people play, too many hands and do it yourself. But in general, in real money poker, people are going to be playing less hands. They're also going to be playing more pots in position. Position has a lot more value when you're playing real money. I mean, it has the same value, but there's more emphasis on position when you're playing real money poker, because people actually want to make money. And the way to make money in poker is to play more hands in position. And so people are respecting that. You'll notice that someone's range of hands they're playing out of position is a fraction of the hands they're playing in position. So they're playing way fewer hands out of position than they are in position, which means you need to do the same. So unless you're in the big blind, closing the action where you're getting a great price to join the flop, you're going to see the flop and you have a hand that has a lot of playability, you really shouldn't be playing too many hands out of position. If you are playing those hands, refer back to those pre-flop charts and know which hands to play from which position, and always come in for a raise. That is a great way to improve your chances of winning. So you're gonna wanna play less hands when you're playing, and when you do play those hands, you wanna play them more aggressively. So start with playing fewer hands and increase the aggression of the hands you do play. So it's called tight and aggressive poker, and that's a great way to make money. So there are a lot of more strategies you can apply. Definitely check out more videos on this YouTube. You're gonna wanna watch my Hand of the Day series if you haven't already. Subscribe to my channel and get latest insight into when new videos come out. There are a lot of things you can do. You're gonna wanna check out a video called How to Study Poker, or the best way to improve at poker in 2018. Should I Get a Poker Coach is a cool video to watch too. It talks about a lot of the different ways that you can improve at poker. And so those are some videos that I recommend you watching if you want more information on transitioning through to real money poker. We also have another free download at consciouspoker.com called our hand reading system, which is awesome content as well. It's totally free. You can get my step-by-step strategy to how I navigate through each and every decision. So encourage you guys to check out that. There's more free content at the Conscious Poker blog. But for now, subscribe to our channel, like this video, leave your thoughts in a comment below. I'd love to hear from you guys if you have questions, what your thoughts are, and some of your feedback and input on the differences between play money poker and real money poker. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate your time. Much love, everybody. Cheers.